stating that this author has done this much. Based on that, it automatically gets decided that okay, if you have done maximum, you are the first author, and accordingly others. So those details also we have put. The credit part, we have it in the guideline. We'll share it with you. Okay. Now, if you look at title, something has been said, catchy with keywords that are easy to find on search engines. Okay. So I've given two titles. The first one, if you read, two-dimensional semiconducting boron monolayers. A short one. Okay. Two-dimensional, maybe because everyone was working on one-dimensional, so they defined it as two-dimensional. Some novelty has come. Semiconducting boron monolayers. Define it as a boron-based molecule, and it has monolayers, but it is semiconducting in nature. What your title gives you is almost the whole picture of what you have made and what is the application. Okay. Second one, photonic quantum state transfer between a cold atomic gas and crystal. This is the second one. Not very big, but some very important defined path, photonic quantum state transfer. Probably some phenomena of that material which suggests that it is important, maybe a new area or a very, very important area. Cold atomic gas and crystal. Maybe they have got some interesting properties out of it. Again, a title which is not very big but straightforward. Third one is pretty exciting. Self-assembly structures and properties of three new nickel-2 coordination polymers derived from two different base pyridyl, and it goes on. So where? This is huge. It's almost writing an essay. Who writes a title as an essay? It's too big. What will happen is when someone wants to read it, either you are disclosing everything about it in the title itself, and it's no more catchy. If anyone wants to cite it, they might not see effectiveness regarding this title. Nowadays, title also goes into rejection part. If someone sees that that is not at all catchy, citations will never come to this title. It's too general. You have to have some smartness in defining what is your review about, what is your chemistry about, in the less number of words. First time you write something slightly bigger, but in the second, third revision, try to come out with something which is very catchy. Okay, short one. Next one, okay, novel, first, exceptional. 2010, before 2010, these were most useful words. Novel. What is novel? Any example of novel? Harry Potter. Novel, huh? Any novel. Novel is what? What is novel? Okay, he has a shirt and the other person has another shirt. Is it novel? Novel to him, no? And novel to that guy as well. They are not same. New. Novel. How do you define this novelty part? Anyone has any clear idea about novelty?
New in its own area.
New in its own area, but if every day there are new molecules which are getting created, then everything is new. You understand? Everyone makes 10 molecules. What is new? Everything is new, right? Yes, please.
Never been done before.
Never been done before. That's what you claim. Exactly. That's what we will claim. Never been done before. It looks good in like a Shakespeare book. Never been done before. In science, never been done before is a problem, because when you are submitting a paper, someone else would have submitted a similar paper in the next other part of the world. How do you define novel? So they have now removed the name, that word as novel. First. How can you be first? एक scientific area है, उसमें first कैसे आते कोई? Any scientific area currently which you say that this person has done it first, How many people know about name reactions? Name reactions, yes. Were they the first? Even they would not claim it. They would say that we based our idea on the previous work which was done, just that our work or chemistry what we did has gone on to become a worldwide application. That's where the name reaction comes. So it's not first. Next one is exceptional. Now these are again cool words. Who can be exceptional? Anything in physics currently which is exceptional? Superconductivity. Superconductivity is supposed to be exceptional. But then there are many retractions. Because everyone says mine is first, or mine is novel, or mine is exceptional. You cannot define this. These words are out now. So if you give a simple title, I've given one, multiferrous catalyst for room temperature amination of heteroanes. This is a straightforward title. But if you change it, first report on the development of, first report. I am working on it, so it is a first report from my lab. No one else works on it in the world. So my first report, how can I define it to the whole world that it's first report? It's me who has developed it. It will be the first report. You cannot convince that way. Okay? Keep it concise. The title should give the reader an insight into the process, but it should not give you a full detail of the process. Otherwise, your title gives up the detail. Why should someone go into the paper? Do you really think that someone should read your title and go away? And that is where many people falter. They write such big titles that someone reads it and say, oh, this is there. Leave it. Attract everyone part by part to come to the introduction, then lead on to next part. So you have to create a suspense. It's always a story. You have to create a story. Scientific story kabhi read ki hai? Any scientific story that you have read? You have not read anything about how the developments have taken place of some science or scientist?
Yes.
Mahesh Kure is there on LinkedIn. He's writing about echoes of ICT. Everyone's from start to end, how they have developed. These are scientific developments. This is something which you have to come, a scientific story. How that development has taken place, who did it first? First in the sense, way back, 1900s, 1950s. Probably the first report came. Then it comes. So that development you will have to show. What does this green and red show? Any idea why I put it as green and why I put it as red? Just read that briefly. And is green means that it's okay as an abstract? Or the red means no, it's not good as an abstract. This is what we are talking about, an abstract. After the title, the next part is an abstract. Anyone knows what an abstract should be? A summary. But that summary should be same as conclusion? No. Summary should only give that excitement that there is something interesting in this review. So give only that much which will allow them to come back to your review and try to read more. Don't make it a conclusion by giving the full length. Otherwise they'll read abstract, they will not even go to conclusion. Okay? The green one, if you read it, it's kind of a short abstract. I would still not go so big. I would say around 3 to 4 lines, sentences, to just give a glimpse of the work done or the type of review you have written. Not a full-length detail about what it is all about, but very smartly written. Question is, when would you write an abstract? No, I'm saying when you're starting to write the review or at the end. Fantastic. Because you conclude and your conclusion is bit lengthy. Because conclusion, we'll go from abstract to conclusion, okay? बीच का बाद में बोलते हैं. If your conclusion, what should be there in your conclusion, according to you?
Summarizing the paper.
No, you already done the summary for abstract. What is the conclusion all about?
Why was there a meeting? What other things that can be done, like future prospects or like?
You have to be critical. You have read so many papers. You have seen all the timelines. Do you think everything works beautifully? Everyone has done a great job? Some criticality that certain things were still missing. People have not been able to do this or achieve this detail. Highlight this. Talk about the problems associated with that area. You come to know that after 100 papers as well, some of these aspects have just not been spoken about. Highlight that. That's your conclusion. Can you have the same thing in abstract? Because if your abstract is critical, people might say that, oh, that's good enough, I have understood this, why should I go ahead? Abstract should be slightly rosy, saying that this is an exciting area, this is a lot of stuff which has happened, many areas which have come out of this, and we have summarized this in the form of a review. So the suspense remains whether there is positivity or you are going very negative. And when they start reading, with time they understand that yes, there are many flaws, problems which can be taken up as the next level projects. Criticality in research, especially reviews, why it is important. Maybe you as an undergraduate will go into a research lab and you want to define some projects. Literally, these critical questions will lead on to your projects. Because no one has done it, you can take it up and you can develop a project out of it. That is generally what is the part of a review. If you are writing it, it will help you create even a new area because you are well versed with whatever has happened till now. So this is something which you should keep in mind, that your abstract should not be so big and so lengthy or sometimes so critical that people are not very happy and they might not proceed forward with the reading of the full review. Now these are points. Yes, please.
Sir, I had a doubt on that regard. So if we write a critical opinion in our conclusion, suppose that out of the 200 papers that we scanned and went through, used as a basis, none of them had some results that we wanted. But can we actually, what if there is some paper that has been missed by us that had the results? So isn't that invalidating the response?
Absolutely. That is what the job of the reviewer is. Because when you are writing from your own perspective. How much you have read, and then you are creating a perspective and you have written that. Some senior professor is there and they come to know that their own paper is missed. They'll come nicely, very hard to you as a reviewer. They'll say you missed this paper only. So change your perspective. You cannot be so critical, but highlight this paper and still say there are certain aspects which have been missed. So they will highlight to you maybe 10 more papers that you might have missed, which are critical papers. That's what the job of the reviewer is. Okay? But that doesn't allow you not to comment on it in a critical way. Sometimes very much appreciated that you are putting across your views and they might be required for the development of that area. So why not? Okay. These are points which probably come across in your paper. Introduction, then you have results and discussion. Results and discussion is mainly for a research article, not for a review. Introduction is common for everyone. Question is how much of introduction you should write, what should be there in your introduction. Question is now in front of you, let's say, that if you are defined one area, introduction should not be so lengthy. You have gone from one part to another and it is kind of derailing the whole area. You have to write the first draft and read it to see whether you are making proper points for the introduction. Do not disclose quite a lot of work. because further ahead you will be discussing those points again. You will be giving more details of every paper which you have analyzed. Results and discussion is especially when you are writing a research article. Introduction then becomes very, very critical. It cannot be a full page, like 10 pages of introduction only. Keep it to a point where you say that someone has done it, but not to a point where we have done it. And these are the positive points, but do not disclose everything. You end the introduction just by stating someone has done work. These are the 10 people who have done work, but these are the missing points. And in the next section, you'll see that we have tried to analyze these and come out with our solutions. That's where the results and discussion starts. And then you critically start talking about your results. Introduction there becomes very important, because many times what I've seen is introduction, people are writing so extensively that sometimes it counters your claim. Some papers which might be much more much better than you, and then you have put that as a critical review. Your reviewers are going to look at it and say that, oh, there is already 2 papers who are much better than you. How does it mean that your paper is then going to get accepted? You can either improve upon it, so they can also give guidelines. The reviewers also do that. We tell you improving points, and if you're able to get that, good. If not, they will not accept. So read your literature very well, and introduction should be written not to say that everything is bad, but at least to highlight that there are certain things which are missing, and your work probably takes care of those problems. Okay? So results and discussion are very important. All these points I will send it to you, and you can always read it. You can probably ask these questions. Even if you want to come and personally talk to me, not an issue. ChemDraw, as I said, use the proper softwares, because we will be checking the files. The quality of the file also matters. If required, we'll teach you this, how to create good quality structures, schemes, reactions. You have every other parts like Excel, Draw, Chem Sketch. You can always create graphs, Excel files, OpenOffice is there, many options are there. But original data, original file is very important. All these will be asked, will be requested from the authors by our team, because templating of the paper also is something which is important. At the final stage, we have to do a lot of templating. So that data, when it is submitted to us, then we start representing in proper way. If you have taken some photographs from outside, we are also going to come on to that. There are others which are there, origin as well. Next. Okay. These are next points. Conclusion, I think we have already spoken. Acknowledgement, this is where you can define. If you say that probably someone has helped you, not scientifically, but probably for discussions, scientific discussions. There are professors, sometimes students, who help you try to visualize that area, but are not physically contributing towards the publication. Someone who can act as a reviewer for you. Your friend only, maybe you give the first draft, they review it, they give you corrections. I think that is a perfect person for acknowledgement, because they have helped you improve the quality, but they are not physically using or creating data to be written for your review. You need to acknowledge such people very well. Okay? Do not acknowledge all the uncles and aunts and everyone. But why I'm telling you this, because in some countries, your uncle, aunts, brothers, sisters, they also come onto papers suddenly, even names. And you're so confused. Why are they coming? Because then they start acknowledging, like, oh, he was giving me solvent. He was saying hello to me. He did this. And you just cannot speak about it. So don't create those options around you that you will be having 10 people on the paper, 10 in the acknowledgement, 10 on the paper. Not required. Okay? Be very critical on that part. References, we have a format, and we will be providing you the format. We will discuss this when the next level of, when you are submitting the papers. We will also be training the authors. That's the next level of training which should happen. This is the general training which we have started. But then the next level will be when you say that you want to submit a paper and you want to have much more training on these various aspects. We'll be training you there as well. Even templating of a paper in our template, writing all the data in a precise way, that also takes a lot of efforts. This is something which we are going to do to you, so don't worry about it. Okay? Maybe we can just stop this. Just give me 5 minutes. Okay, just quickly, nothing much, but what is plagiarism and how do you define it? So I'm not going to discuss all these things. You can just see the types of plagiarisms which are available. Go one by one. These are the types, okay? But we'll get the example and then we'll understand. Next one. 10 types of plagiarism. Now, if you look at the first one, clone, it's almost like the same replica of a book or any review or a chat GPT. Exactly whatever you saw, you cut and pasted it. Now, this is a serious level of plagiarism. On the spot, you are rejected. What is our policy? If your paper, because of plagiarism, is referred to editor-in-chief, the message will go to the HOD that the plagiarism has happened, and you will not be able to submit anything to BT for next 5 years. Okay, so that will be a big problem for you. Although after 5 years you will not do that. It's a different matter. But it is a serious level of plagiarism. It's almost like 100% plagiarism. Don't go into that. Next one, find and replace. So that's again a smart way. What they do is go and cut and paste, but find some specific terms and just replace them. Just few words which you think in between. So I've given some examples. If you go next. If you see this is clone. Exact copy, right? Whatever is on left side, exact copy will be on the right side. That's cloning. Next one, this is Control C. So you have definitely the left hand side. Right hand side, only few words you're trying to change, thinking that this is okay. How would people come to know? Next one, this is find and replace. So find and replace is some words which you know, but like similarities, similar words, you can replace them for. But overall, how much is the percentage of plagiarism in the first case? 100%. Second case? About 90%. Third case? 80-85% again. Next one. This one is remix. इसमें भी चलता है, गानों में तो definitely चलता है. Which means 2-3 book papers, यहाँ से लो, वहाँ से लो, अलग-अलग color है. You see, in middle white, something written by you, but grey, red and green, 3 different papers, remix. Overall, plagiarism above 90. Not good. Next one. Okay, this is recycle. Very similar. Small changes. What happens? 90 plus. No chance. Hybrid. Smart way. So you have almost red, but somewhere completely different. Maybe people might not even get that option. Get and chuck it, thinking that no one will ever be able to catch you. Not possible. Next one, mashup. So various ways are there. 10 types, can you imagine? Because they have been identified in publications. This you will get from Turnitin. This is known. Turnitin is one of the best websites. We have that software. We have it here. When you submit a paper or a thesis, So for example, our PhD thesis, when the student is submitting it, I'll first of all tell them you go to Urkun or Turnitin, submit it, and I need to see the plagiarism. So 10% is from ICT, that is allowed. If I get more, I say no, you need to change. And I will read my own as well. For writing a paper, normally I will take up the whole thing. I'll get a draft, but I will start revising. And unless until I'm comfortable, because I don't refer to anything. If I'm working in my area, I don't refer to any books when I'm writing a paper. That will come to you as well over a period of time, that you have very clear idea about that area and you'll define it in your own words. Complete, 100% clean, no plagiarism at all. And that's what generally should be the first part. That should be in your mind, that you should write everything originally. Okay, go on. Now, this is pretty good. This is really good. This is something which I have to tell you. If you have a nice photograph, which you see on either Google or in some paper, publication, can you simply dapify that? Why? It looks good. It could do wonders to your paper. Looks fascinating, nice color. Can you take it? Why? Who owns that publication? Who owns the publication? The journal. Who are these big journals? ACS, let's say, American Chemical Society, RSC, Royal Society of Chemistry. All these are publishers. They are protecting all the data which has been published with them. They will not allow you to take that photo directly. And if you do it, what happens? This is one example. One is you get the data which is already published and you directly use it without acknowledgement. Acknowledgement are two types. First is you have to give a reference. Second, you have to get a permission. If you don't get a permission from the publisher, there are publishing webs. On the website of every journal, there is a permission option given. You have to give details that I am publishing in some other journal. This is my original article, but I am using only this photograph. Commonly, if it is not for circulation purpose or you are not making money out of it, the publisher gives you free of cost access. And then you can use it with proper acknowledgement, giving a reference. Google is not at all allowed. Any photograph from Google you should not be taking, because there is no acknowledgement option, there is no permission option, and that goes completely into plagiarism. Okay, so that is something which I wanted to tell you. The other part is, if you see, just go back. If you see, now in this case, you have a source written, source @ Royal Society of Chemistry, or source @ American Chemical Society. What has been written below? If you see, this image is one of the number that were apparently repurposed as passed off as a new work. What is repurposing? That means that one was published somewhere, someone did some changes which is not allowed. If it is already a published photograph in some journal, you are not supposed to change and publish it somewhere else again. Repurposing means thoda idhar udhar kiya or pass on kar diya. Let's say you make a material and you get these photographs as SEM and TEM. You know SEM? If you take that and you publish it in one good journal, can you repurpose? Change the angle of the photograph, do something? कुछ रब करो थोड़ा सा पेंट शॉप में जाके, चलेगा? This got the name I have written this, but to be honest, 25 papers were retracted. Why? What was literal huge level of plagiarism as well as falsification, fabrication and falsification. False data. Why false data? You have already published that data and you have slowly started changing the photograph to publish in other journals and passing it on as new work. This happens in IITs. This happens in some of the top institutions where 25 papers from one scientist have been retracted. You know what happens with retractions? What happens to the professor? आराम से है वो, आराम से. All the blame goes back to the students. Someone is working somewhere, the whole career is gone. Because at the end of the day, that's how the law looks at. Someone will say, it's not my fault. Students created the data. But it is the responsibility of the corresponding author, while submitting the paper, to check that the data is original and check it thoroughly. Otherwise, this is what happens. And there is something called as retraction watch. I've given that. If you see a retraction watch, the number has already gone beyond 50,000 or 1 lakh. And most of these are retracted after the COVID. क्योंकि जिनको कोविड का मालूम नहीं था उन्होंने भी रिव्यूज लिख दिए. बहुत सारे पेपर्स ऐसे ही पब्लिश हुआ है, बहुत सारे रिट्रैक्शंस हैं. So something which we should be very, very careful about.